Camera's crooked. Working with a new tripod. I'm sorry, guys.
Huh.
Hey, Lisa.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Guys, this is Lisa.
I'm Lisa.
Lisa's a friendly human being with a soul for kindness.
That was beautiful. Well, we had a really great conversation before this.
We did have a great conversation. I believe in great conversations.
I do too.
Speaking of great conversations, did you know that there were like at least 5 actors who died making movies?
I had no idea.
Yeah, and we want to make movies. We want to be in movies. We could be on this list one day.
We could.
From AlltimeMovies.
What a nice thing to think about.
I know Brandon Lee died on The Crow. Here we go.
All right.
Think of Gene Kelly dancing in the rain while he had a searing fever.
Take care of that throat. You're a big singing star now.
Or Tom Cruise being strapped to a plane. That kind of recklessness can kill you, despite all the safety
stunt doubles.
precautions. Thing is, movie stars, they're human. They look eternally youthful and have what seems to be the easiest job in the world, but they suffer the same emotional problems and health issues that anyone can endure. And other times, accidents can happen.
Life can be trying, don't you think?
So here are 5 actors who died while making a movie, and how the filmmakers coped with their premature departures.
Oh no.
Number
I
5,
know one of them.
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, I saw the
In
movie.
1962, Something's Got to Give was going to be Marilyn Monroe's big comeback. She hadn't made a movie in a while and had been suffering severe illness and depression for a year. Sadly, her illness never went away, and the film was repeatedly delayed by Monroe's sick days. It got to the point where the director didn't know whether or not he'd wake up to a phone call from Marilyn saying, "Sorry, I can't come on set today."
He was calling me.
She tried to make up for it by doing a nude publicity shoot on the set, but things got
Oh,
worse
wow.
and the studio fired her. Then her
Oh.
co-stars refused to do it without her, so the studio
Ooh.
rehired her.
A nipple?
Come on in, honey. You can hear better
I don't
in
think
here.
so.
Shortly afterwards, though, she died of a painkiller overdose. It was probably a suicide. She was just 36.
Really?
Maybe older
I
really
didn't know.
is just the next thing.
The film was never finished. The studio decided to cut their losses and completely remake it as Move Over Darling with Doris Day. Number 4, Tyrone Power.
Tyrone?
Tyrone Power was one of the biggest
Tyrone!
stars of
Could be his
Golden Age
name.
Hollywood. His speciality was swashbucklers like the Mark of Zorro,
Wow.
I've been here once and can return.
which got a weird kind of sequel in The Mask of Zorro. Anyway, Tyrone was
Sure.
a dab hand at sword fighting with a smile and made a career out of it. Ironically, though, it was his sword fight that killed him, but not in the way
Wow.
you'd think. While filming a duel on the set of his last film, Solomon and Sheba, he had a heart attack. He died in hospital,
Oh.
aged 44. The studio replaced Tyrone with his friend Yul Brynner, who turned down the lead role in Spartacus with Stanley Kubrick to reshoot his mate's biblical epic. The film was poorly received and is largely forgotten today. Number 3,
Spartacus. Wow.
Oliver Reed. What
Yep,
a
I remember that.
legend. Great actor and even greater alcoholic,
Yes, I was.
Oliver Reed struggled with
Yes,
the
I was.
demon in the bottle
That
all
was
his
mean.
life, but he didn't drink while making Gladiator. That is, until the film was on a break in Malta. Reed allowed himself one last binge in a drinking contest against some British sailors. Apparently, he drank 8 pints of lager, 12 double runs, and half a bottle of whiskey before having a fatal heart attack.
I'd be
at
dead.
61. He paid for
2
everyone's
sips
drinks.
of wine and I'm...
Ridley Scott chose to finish Reed's scenes by creating a CG mask of his face and pasting it onto a body double, and cleverly editing unused footage into a death scene that wasn't even in the script. It cost an extra $3.2 million
Oh
to
my
complete
God.
Oliver's role. Number 2,
Whoa.
John Candy.
Candy.
Wagons East is a strange and pretty shit comedy wasting the talents of a really good cast. So it's an even greater shame that it was the late, great John Candy's final film.
Then how does she know?
Candy's final act was reportedly making dinner for his assistants.
Sure you're not hungry?
It was lasagna, by the way, before going to
I
bed.
don't eat meat when I'm drinking.
He died in his sleep from a heart attack. It may have been triggered by Candy's insistence on performing a fist fight himself instead of using a stunt double.
God.
He was only 43.
Aww.
To complete the film, they used a body double, a voice impressionist, and some digital trickery to reuse footage they'd shot of Candy's performance. It's pretty obvious, and all the special effects in the world can't replace the comedy skill that Candy brought to his films.
I'd like it to be me.
Rest in peace, Uncle Buck.
Wow.
Number 1.
Yep,
Yeah.
told you, that's what I said.
Yeah.
Sadly, Lee makes it to the top of
We
this
all knew
list
that
because
was
he was
coming.
actually killed by the movie
this.
rather than because of some health condition or self-inflicted injury.
They'll kill you.
Brandon Lee was shot on the set of The Crow after
Wow,
the prop crew
The Crow.
accidentally left a dummy
grew
bullet
up
in the
watching
barrel
this
of a
movie.
gun, then loaded it with blanks before filming the key scene where Lee's character is shot and killed. Ironically, the blanks were safe, and the bullet wouldn't have hurt stuck in the barrel, but when you combine them, it's fatal. After 6 hours of surgery, Lee died from the gunshot wound. He was just 28.
Wow.
Lee only had 3 days of shooting left on the film, but they were all key flashback scenes. So they rewrote the script, used his stunt double to film new scenes, and digitally superimposed Lee's face onto him,
Looks
as
good.
well as recycling
Yeah.
footage of Lee from other scenes with new CG backgrounds.
How
The
interesting.
new footage only adds up to 30 seconds,
Ah.
but the budget went up by $8 million.
Wow.
It works pretty seamlessly, and I'd say The Crow is definitely worth watching. Sadly, these aren't the only people to have died on a movie set. To learn more about the behind-the-scenes tragedies of movie making, click right here to see the 5 deadliest movie stunts. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you next time.
See you next time, All-Time Movies.
Wow. What people do, you know?
You know, the insurance policies on actors are very serious. 2 things that got brought up in my mind recently were when Jackie Chan started doing movies in the US with Rush Hour. He was doing a stunt that didn't have him attached to wires, and then
Right.
they got upset, so the studios got upset, so they had to, you know, you have to have a stunt double, you have to do
You
this.
do.
And Jared Leto, on his personal life, he's not even, like, according to his contract, he shouldn't be rock climbing.
Right.
But he's doing this thing where he's rebelling and posting on Instagram that he's rebelling by,
Like he was proud of
like
it?
he's actually rock climbing. And I've heard of actors not being cast too because of health concerns. Yeah, there's actors who could have had like big careers, but they had like a scare moment where like they had a heart attack or a stroke. They wouldn't get cast for bigger projects after that. This is sad.
It's sad. It's cool to do your own stunts, but you gotta be realistic.
True. Although Tom Cruise doesn't believe in the word realism, or is that
I
realistic?
know. Now he does some crazy stuff. I don't know. Would you want a stunt double?
No.
No.
At least I don't want the people to know that.
Yeah, well, of course not. But sometimes.
No, don't believe in it.
Okay.
Not necessary. I can do all my own stunts, people. I can do it all.
They call him Cruise.
I'm like, yeah, Greg, I'm like, I don't got a good one. Marilyn Manson, oh my god, Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, synonymous.
Marilyn Monroe, I did see that movie, My Life with Marilyn, or My Week with Marilyn. I decided to do research after watching the movie, and like apparently she was this woman who like really suffered a lot with depression. She was someone though who really wanted to become a serious actress.
Yeah.
She wanted to stop being known as just a sex image. And this is not just based off this movie. I was even reading a book called On Method Acting, and they talked about how she was this case that came into the class one day, and she would study for hours and hours and hours to really show that she had real talent, that she wasn't just that. And unfortunately, that little bit of footage we got from her last movie, it looks like she was doing like a good job. Like she was like, even though the movie's not really heard of, I feel like she was really giving it her all when she was actually on set.
Yeah, I think so too. It's too bad the stress. It's stress, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's where a lot of it comes from, and the fact she wanted to totally change her image like that. Take it seriously. I mean, I don't know all of her personal life.
But you can find out. It's on Google.
But you can find out
It's all on Google.
Google.
Tyrone Power.
Tyrone.
He should have called himself that. Magnus? You should have gone with Tyrone Power.
Power.
That sounds way cooler.
Tyrone
That's my new name.
Power. He got the power.
Greg Power. No.
Ooh.
Tyrone Power.
Tyrone Power.
Tyrone Power.
What about Lisa? No.
Lisa Power?
No. Doesn't work.
I wonder if that was his real last name.
Google it.
We should Google
Everything's
it.
on Google.
We're going to find out the truth.
Everything's on Google these days.
Tyrone
Power.
Power. Usually a Wikipedia page can
Oh, yeah.
solve this. Tyrone
Edmund
Power
Power the
III.
Third.
Wow. The Powers are a long-living
Okay.
name.
Did they make it sound like it was in the sword fight at first, but it wasn't. It was
No, yeah, it happened like during the sword
during
fight,
the
but it wasn't
sword
like the
fight.
sword got him,
No, not in the heart.
which would have been a cooler story.
Ugh. It's never cool to die. Never cool to die.
It's never cool to die, but stabbing is a way more interesting story.
Do you think the heart attack stems from the impact put into this fight and making it real, or is it what do you think this stems
Of
from?
why that specific moment?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a buildup of a lot of things. A lot of times heart attacks are linked to stress more than they are linked to just bad eating. You know, obesity can lead to things such as heart attack or stroke, but A lot of time it's stress too. Back then, I don't know what diet was really
Well,
like.
when especially back then, these fight scenes, like we were talking about this earlier, Greg and I, about fight scenes and how it's more of like a choreographed routine.
It's like
and
a dance,
I know,
yeah.
It's like a dance, and I know sword fights can't always be that, but since you have more of that in there, I don't know. I feel like it's safer almost than the scenes we get today with all the blood and guts. Like that's why I'm wondering, where does this heart attack stem from?
And it sucks when an actor's last movie is also
Yeah.
a movie that's not considered to be that great.
Yeah.
You know, there's actors who didn't die during the film, but like when Aaliyah died, her last movie that came out was Queen of the Damned. Wasn't that great.
Wasn't that great?
Raul Julia was Street Fighter. This, I haven't seen it, but hey, I'm sure you had. But Zorro was, you know, legendary.
Yeah.
That's cool he gets to live on. It's
Yeah.
the first actor who played
Now
Zorro in
that
film.
is pretty epic.
That's pretty cool. I wish that was in my bloodline. Like my great-grandfather played Zorro.
Yeah.
You know, I'm actually related to Anthony Hopkins.
How?
And he played Zorro in The Mask of Zorro.
How? Give me the tree.
My mind doesn't work that fast when I lie. Right. Oliver Reed, he drank what Lisa usually does every Friday night. 8 pints of...
Guys.
Wow.
Untrue. I don't understand his recipe. This was a recipe for failure.
He literally drank himself
8
to
pints.
death.
Okay. One shot and I'm good. I mean, like,
Half a bottle of whiskey.
you gotta know your limits, okay? Be smart when you drink.
That's what Oliver Reed taught us.
That's what Oliver Reed taught us.
And
This would be a great video for college kids.
Perhaps alcoholism is a great way to become a great actor. A lot of great actors become alcoholics.
Not because they want to further their acting, you guys.
No, but because they get so invested into the darkness of these characters that in their personal life,
This is
they start
terrible.
drinking away their problems.
This is terrible.
So Lisa,
No.
if we're going to be actors, we got to start drinking more.
No! This is nuts. Nuts.
What would Robert Downey Jr.'s career be without him having drug abuse in his past?
Way better.
No, it's part of what makes his story awesome.
No.
We got to be on the rise, and then we crash, and then we have a comeback when we're clean. That's when being... Because if we start off introduced clean, we haven't had any experience in life.
gosh.
But if we start off with terrible experiences, like Drew Barrymore when she was young, and that was supposed to her
Oh
party
my
when she was
god,
like
her
11.
story.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We got to start partying
She didn't need
while
that
our
in her-
career is
no.
on the rise, and then we fall. What happened? We get clean with
Life
inspiration.
is messy enough without the alcohol. Trust me, you learn so
Don't
much.
understand publicity.
My bad. Okay, you know what? I'm done.
John Candy. This guy was a hilarious dude. I watched a lot of his movies when I was much younger.
Now, this is another heart attack.
I know I'm still overweight, but I've been working on my health a lot more
He
lately.
has. He looks great.
Even though I want to get McDonald's after this, I've been working on my health a lot more lately.
McDonald's isn't the root of unhealthiness.
No.
Okay? Let's
No.
be real.
It's not having alcohol.
Yes.
If you're not going to be an alcoholic, you get fat.
That's how you know we were joking about the
And
list.
that's when you see getting fat's another one, and then you lose a bunch of weight. People, wow, you look great.
And
because
then you're on the
you
cover
look-
of all the magazines.
Exactly, because they see the before and after.
They're inspired.
How Chris Pratt was fat,
And
and
they're
then he
like-
got all these movies. Now he's buff.
What's your workout routine? I just didn't take as many shots this week.
Yeah, it's just, you cut back on the beer.
But they'll get into this intricate, I lift weights now and I
Work
do all
out 3
this
times a
and
week.
that.
Bullshit.
You just stop
Fuckers.
drinking a little bit.
But John
Why did we get so angry?
When I see like huge comedians, like really overweight comedians, like I went to the Comedy Store recently, and there was a comic there who was doing a whole routine off of his weight. And I know like really overweight comics, they
kinda
usually have a
use
bit,
that?
yeah. And it's like, yes, this is funny. You're doing what you want to do. But I can't help but be a little concerned for you, you know?
I definitely am concerned because sometimes I realize they're making a joke out of something they know they need to work on.
Yeah, which can be funny because most of us, at least in the circles I run in, tend to have some type of weight struggle at some point in their life.
It's
And so we
we're
can
human.
we can relate to it. It's like, yes, those fat jokes can be funny. However, when you're like 45 and then you're like still really huge, I start to get concerned that like I want you to stick around longer.
Yeah,
You're
we're
funny.
cheering for you.
Just find other ways to be funny without relying on being fat. Brandon Lee, The Crow. I don't think I've ever talked about this movie on my channel.
I don't think you have.
Yeah, Lisa's seen every video.
I've seen every single one. I took notes the other day. I did not see Brandon Lee.
The Crow was a movie I grew up on. Brandon Lee is Bruce Lee's son.
Yeah.
And Bruce Lee passed away, and eventually when Brandon Lee grew up, he got into movies. And this was his last film. The Crow was such an impactful movie. It was based on a comic book of The Crow. This was before every movie was a comic book. And it's really fucking good. I don't think a little kid should be watching it, but I did. Okay. And it was very,
I did.
It's
and
very
turned
violent.
Out great.
It turned out fine.
Yeah.
And there were no struggles along the way. It was also easy, smooth,
rainbows
breezy.
And butterflies.
Yeah. My life is peachy constantly. Never a stress that I've ever had to endure. Anyway, with Brandon Lee. I actually met the guy who shot Brandon Lee. And
this is not a joke.
No, he had at the time when I met him, he was running a candle store or something like that.
Oh.
Some type of store in Sherman Oaks. I felt really bad for the guy because, like that definitely affected his career. Yeah. He wasn't able to excel as far as he could have because of an accident that wasn't his fault. It's just after that he was like known as the guy who accidentally shot Brandon Lee, The funny thing about The Crow is that it's the #1, if you follow like any basic movie news right now, The Crow is a movie that has been in development for its reboot for so long, and has been shifting through so many directors, and now it's being passed to another studio. To think that if Brandon Lee didn't pass away, we probably could have just had a really awesome franchise with him instead of a bunch of bad movies that followed after him.
Right.
And a bunch of bad experiences. It's cool that he got to go out on a high note, and that it wasn't that he didn't end his career or image in a way that was replicant of his father.
Right.
Which isn't a bad thing. Bruce Lee's a legend, but it's cool that he was able to create a new image. And
his own self.
Yeah, his own self. And, I don't know. One way to go out. Die on a set.
Die on a set. As actors, we can, that's how we want to go.
I want to do a crying deathbed scene where I confess that I killed everyone that my family loved because I wanted to keep my family to myself. Yeah, but I'm using my real life experiences to channel this character.
Got it.
Because
that's what actors do.
Then I die in the scene, and then I die in real life.
Oh my God. Have you been thinking about this, or did you just think of that?
I've thought about this for many years.
Oh my.
I have a whole script ready.
Can I see it?
Yeah, 400 pages. I gotta trim it down a little bit to like at least 380.
Okay. Oh.
Don't want to be too long.
Right, no, that would be just drawn out.
Drawn out, yeah. No one's gonna stick around for 400.
20 more pages now.
Yeah, people would give up by that point. If you're new to channels in general, there's a subscribe button. It makes me look better. Subscribe, please. Yeah, Lisa Mihelich.
That was good.
Do you have a middle name?
Marie.
It's cute. Lisa Marie.
Lisa Marie.
Lisa Mihelich is a wonderfully talented. I'm gonna be genuine here. I'm in an acting class with this girl, and man, this lady kills it every single class, and I've learned so much from her, from just watching her. She's gonna be someone really famous, and I'm glad that she's here right now at this couch, so that way we can establish a friendship on camera. Yeah. That way, if you decide not to be friends with me down the road when you're super famous, you look like a horrible
that is not, if anyone knows me knows that's so not, that would not be the case.
Fame can change you. Trust me, I know fame's changed me. I am a celebrity.
Oh God. I mean, yeah.
Who has more than 400,000 subscribers on YouTube? No one.
No one.
Not even Tyrone Power.